So now that we know some of the basics about working with precision parts in SolidWorks from week 2, in week 3 we're going to look a little bit at SolidWorks basic surfacing tools. So we know that we can build a rectangle and that we can make that rectangle any size that we want by dimensioning it, say 50 by 50. And then we can make that into a 3D cube by moving or by extruding. Now there are a few tools I'd like to show you before we get into real surfacing, and those are new to SolidWorks 2010, many of them, not all of them, and one of them is under Face. There's Move Face. So this is pretty handy actually. So I'm going to clear my selections here. So right here it says it's doing something to this whole extrude. So I'm going to right click and say delete. So now nothing is selected. And I'll just select this top face. And I've got offset selected up here. And I can set a distance. It could be 10, it could be -10. Sorry, you just click flip direction. So not -10. So positive number, but you can flip direction to go either direction we want. And then it will move that face. It'll offset that face whichever way you want. And it keeps it as a feature in our history tree. So I can always go back and edit that feature and maybe offset it 10 this time. Now we can run another one. I could say face move. This time we could do rotate. So I'll select this top face and I'll select a center line for my rotation, which will be this edge right here. And then just choose an angle. It could be any angle I want to. We'll make it flip direction and go 20 degrees. Okay, so now our cube has an angled top face, and I can select on that top face and do an extruded boss on it. And if I wanted to make it in the center, I could snap a line to either end of this rectangle. Snap to the midpoint. I'd set this line to construction line and set a dimension for my circle to 20 millimeters. Enter. And I just choose how far I want it to go. Okay. Now even with that there, I can still change faces. So if I want to move this face along a given direction, or this face, I can still use my face move tool. So I could say face translate this one, and I need to choose a direction to translate it. So I'm going to move it along this edge in that direction. In this case, with a rectangle, translate and offset do exactly the same thing. But with other shapes, they might not. So we'll change this to 5 and hit enter, and there we go. It has moved this face up 5 millimeters. So now if we, in our history tree, we can move back in time by dragging this little bar here back to the beginning. So here's our original extrude, and here we move the face up. Here we move the face by rotating it. Here we extrude that new boss, and here we move that face by translating it. So move face, really powerful new command in SolidWorks. Another thing that you can do is move this whole solid. So I could use insert features move/copy. So I can select this solid body and I can turn off copy, and then it'll let me move this any which way I want to in any dimension. So I can just type a dimension here, -130 by 50, and hit enter. And now my object has moved to a new location. I could also check this copy box so that when it moves it, it copies it. Okay? So that will get you started with a few of the basic changes you can do in SolidWorks 2010. But the point of today's lesson is to look a little bit more at surfacing. So let's draw on this face, and let's do a sketch of a spline. We'll do a through-point spline. Oops. Hit escape when we're done, and I can move the points along the spline by dragging to adjust exactly how I want them to be. I could dimension them if I wanted to. and hit enter. And now I can extrude that open curve under the Surfaces tab right here. There's an extrude tool, a surface extrude tool, and it's orange. And so I can drag this whichever way I want to, hit enter, and now I have this surface body that's floating out here. And I can do different things with the surface body. I can, for example, trim this solid body with it. So I could go to my features again, and over here there's cut with surface. I could also go insert features, cut, insert cut with surface, and then choose this surface as my cutting object, choose which side I want to delete, click OK, and there we go. Now I can hide this surface and we have an object that has been trimmed, and that is parametric, so we can go back in time and get rid of it, or I can edit my original sketch by expanding my surface extrude here in the tree and clicking on Edit Sketch. So then I could change that curve, update, and now our model is updated. And the beauty of that is I can add as many fillets or whatever I want as I like. I can do anything to this model, literally anything, and then go back and make a change to my original sketch, and everything will update perfectly. Okay? Big deal. This is why we like parametric modeling in tools like SolidWorks.